of our Honorable Chief Guest at Tiger Sundarban National Park for West Bengal for ecotourism. Ladies and gentlemen, recognizing the strategic importance of innovative crop nutrition in strengthening India's agricultural future, FICCI constituted the Task Force on Innovative Crop Nutrition as a dedicated platform to drive adoption, access, awareness, policy support, and collaborative action across the entire crop nutrition system. And now to formally commence the proceedings of the inaugural session, the opening address and the context setting, it is my privilege to invite Mr. Sanjeev Kanwar, Chairman FICCI Task Force on Innovative Crop Nutrition, and MD, Yara South Asia and Country Head, Yara India. Mr. Kanwar, with nearly 4 decades of experience in India's agriculture sector, has played a significant role in advancing farmer-centric innovation, sustainable crop nutrition, and digital-led transformation in agri-input delivery. He has held leadership roles across leading global and Indian organizations and continues to actively engage with the government, industry bodies, and global platform on the future of agriculture. And may I now invite you, sir, for the opening address and the context setting. Over to you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Frankly, I'm more comfortable standing and talking because I can move around a little bit, sitting in a chair, and doing a speech is not very essentially common as a peaceful also. So, welcome Professor Mahinda, Jyoti, Sanjay, and Dr. Chaudhary, and my colleagues, and most importantly, my farmers. In the context setting, I will certainly mention here is I'll switch from Hindi to English and back to Hindi because we have lots of farmers here. It is very important कि उनके बारे में हमने बात करनी है तो जरा इंग्लिश में बात होगी बॉलीवुड की वजह से हम सब ये लैंग्वेज जानते हैं. So when it comes to Indian agriculture, before we talk about it, I think it's important that we understand and appreciate one fact that the Indian economy is expected to grow to USD $10 trillion by 2035. That is the next 9 years, we're going to be a $10 trillion economy. And this also means that Indian agriculture GDP needs to grow from $600 billion today to around $1.2 to $1.4 trillion. Because that's where our share is, 12 to 14% of the GDP comes from Indian agriculture. And it's also very, very important, at least for me and many of my colleagues out here, that the journey to $10 trillion economy is through India's farmlands. If the Indian farmer is not going to make money, rural consumption is not going to be there to support a $10 trillion economy. That's the fact. Now one would say, how do we go about it? The key thing is, all of us stakeholders sitting in this room, we need to agree to solve the 3 or 4 key challenges that Indian agriculture faces today. And to be brutally honest to myself, I say these challenges are like Devanand of Bollywood, who was always there. First one is soil health. In the last 30 to 40 years, we have seen that soil health, what it was in the 60s and the 70s, does not exist anymore. The secondary and micronutrients are almost gone. They're non-existent. And that is affecting the yields of India. Second part is water scarcity. Coupled with that is the agroclimatic changes that we face. We have 54% of India's farmlands under deep water stress conditions. Even a state like Punjab and Haryana, which have 5 rivers flowing through them, we have water table going down to 300 to 500 feet. So something is seriously wrong in the way we are managing the water systems. So we need to address that. Add on to that is our Mr. El Nino. He shows up very regularly every 3rd year. And this year El Nino is going to be like the Dara Singh Award El Nino. That's what the prediction is. And it's serious stuff for us. And today in the morning I read somewhere, it's a Godzilla of El Nino that is coming this year. So how are we going to protect our agriculture productivity if this goes on? Third element is the scourge of malnutrition. 18% of Indians have signs of hidden hunger. 195 million people carrying Indian citizenship, they have hidden hunger. 40% of India's children are showing signs of zinc deficiency. 3 to 5 children globally who show signs of stunting are Indians. Keep in mind that these children will, in another 20 to 25 years, grow up into adulthood, and how will they contribute to the growth of Indian economy if they're not as productive as they could be, as their potential was. So these are some of the challenges that exist before us. Then we come to the yield issues. All these 3 challenges before us point in the direction of yields. If you look at the yield in India, all our major crops are 40 to 50% below the global averages. You might have pockets of excellence, whether your yield averages of wheat or a paddy are maybe equal to or slightly less than the global average. But overall, our farm productivity is, I'm talking about productivity, I'm not talking about production, is 50 to 60% lower than the global averages. This also means that we're using twice the amount of our resources, which are fertilizers and water, to produce one ton of grain as compared to maybe leading countries like China and Brazil. So, and this is something which we need to fix. And when you have lower yields, you also have lower farm incomes. Our farmers in India, unfortunately for us, the harsh reality is average farm earnings are close to about $1,400 to $1,500 per annum. When you compare it with another smallholder countries in Asia, Indonesia, it earns about $1,900. China earns about $200 per capita, every farmer. So this is where we are struggling with. And if India needs to hit $10 trillion economy, we really need to fix this at the heart. So with the help of FICCI, Jyoti and Hemant, they put together a FICCI team and a task force which comprises of a lot of my friends and peers from the industry. I think collectively the task force, maybe I'll just post a little bit of the task force. We collectively have about 250 years of experience in this business. So we did a lot of brainstorming over the last 1 year. I think we met almost about 15, 20 times digitally and otherwise. And Sanjay from Yes Bank helped us a lot. And then he came to some kind of conclusions that how can we make things move and happen in this, in the business of agriculture. So the conclusion has been that India needs to more of innovative crop products such as micronutrient coatings, it could be polymer coatings, you need biostimulants to come in, you need water-soluble fertilizers, you also need specialized feeder-type fertilizers to come in at scale and at speed in India. Today when we look at the registration processes, it's a bit slow. हमारे को नया प्रोडक्ट रजिस्टर करने में 3 से 4 साल लगते हैं और उसको आगे मार्केट में लाने के लिए 2 साल और 5 साल से पहले नया प्रोडक्ट इंडिया में आप ला नहीं सकते, स्पेशली इनऑर्गेनिक और बायोसोलबल. So that needs to be fixed. So some of the recommendations are, not only for the government of India but also for the industry at large. Number one is, as an industry, we need to develop science-based innovative solutions. We don't need to develop products which we feel can get us a better margin. I think we need to be responsible. We need to deliver and develop products which solve the current problems of soil health, water scarcity, and so on and so forth. That is extremely important for us. Focus on the last mile delivery. Last mile delivery does not mean only deliver the product. How are you going to deliver the knowledge? Because there is a huge knowledge gap in India amongst the farming community. So how to deliver it? It has to be focused extension services. Maybe use digital apps to deliver. You could use a WhatsApp. You could use a Yara, for example, has a farm care app where we have over 6 million farmers on it. We deliver knowledge to the farmers in their farm at the time when they're needed. So we need to look at such kind of solutions from the industry side. And from the government, I feel the government has to become an enabler. Enabler of agriculture business. That's what Sanjay, I'm stealing that tone, that word from Sanjay. You need to be an enabler. So when it comes to the registration of products, we are suggesting that we could have a label kit and move on with it. And if a label claim is too quick, it's too much of a liberalization, then maybe we should really focus on minimum nutrients, maximum contaminants, as has been done in the case of the water soluble fertilizers, NPKs, that are available in the market. And that has really opened up opportunities for the farmers to experiment, to get access to latest technologies on water soluble NPKs that are available across the globe. I'm very much focused on the contaminants part of it, because in the way we are structured in this business, in the fertilizer control order, we do not talk about contaminants, barring on micronutrients and water soluble NPKs. And if the heavy metals get fixed into your soil, it's impossible to get rid of them. So we need to protect our soil. The starting point is fix the minimum, the maximum contaminants that we need, and liberalize. Just say, okay, this is the minimum nutrient content that we need in a fertilizer to be registered and to be allowed to be sold in India, and move on with your life. And that's it. And that will open up innovation at scale. Bioply will not have to spend too much time taking rounds of certain offices, but they will spend more time on what they're good at, that is innovating. Looking at the farmers' challenges, and innovate at scale. Second element that we're looking at, suggesting is to upgrade our testing facilities. What has been sold in the market needs to be tested and tested at scale. We don't have that at the moment. It's only the government laboratories that are allowed or are authorized to test. Why can't we have? We should have the NABL certified private labs also authorized to test the samples that are drawn by the various people in the market. But that will bring in a very strong base of testing facilities in India, which will also make it easy for people to bring in new innovative products, and we are also assured that the lab that is testing them is capable of actually delivering the right quality of test results. That is extremely important. Then is one nation, one license. Today, we have 30 states. We get a license from every single state, and that has brings different challenges and adds to the paperwork and the time to the market. If we can have a GST, one GST per company, if we can have a one PAN card, we can have a one IEC, I can have one IP number, why can't we have one nation, one license, and move on, liberalize the agriculture sector? Because unless we liberalize this agriculture sector, we won't be able to deliver innovation at scale in the hands of the farmers. To sum up, I can only draw a reference. About 5 or 10 years back, the Indian Armed Forces realized they needed to modernize, and modernize at scale. We didn't know it, but they were modernizing at scale. They privatized the sourcing from within India. Last year, in 88 hours, the Indian Armed Forces brought the enemy on the Western Front to its knees. And if you look at the weapon system that was used, you had the legacy weapons, the ACTAC guns of 1945, 1950, anti-aircraft guns, Bofors, and so on and so forth. But they also had kamikaze drones, they also had the drone systems, Akashtis, and the BrahMos. If they had not innovated, we would be in trouble. I say the same thing applies to Indian agriculture, because we are the second line of defense. The first line of defense is always the armed forces, protecting the territorial integrity of the country. But it's on us to protect the food and the nutrition security of the country. For that, we need innovation at scale. Legacy products like urea, DAP, MOP, NPK, you will need them. Of course you will need them at scale. You need them at size. But how do you break this growth barrier that we have got in front of us? You need innovation, and you need innovation at scale. So ladies and gentlemen, I leave the floor now to Sanjay, who will walk us through the task force, how it worked and how we worked and followed you 100%. And thank you so much. Hopefully you have some food for thought. Otherwise, we have lunch for you at 1:45. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much indeed, sir, for your